Welcome to the Fully Engaged Fitness Podcast, where you'll be hearing from the top fitness experts from the engaged personal training community of businesses. These include client interviews and success stories, insights and tips from our top fitness experts, and the unique approach that we bring to our clients that have helped transform thousands of lives over the last 10 years in business. Don't forget to like and subscribe this podcast so that you can be the first one in the know. Now let's get into this episode. Hey guys, Devin Gage here. Welcome back to the Fully Engaged Fitness Podcast. Today, I want to talk supplements. Should you take them? What should you take? Or what could you take? And what supplements we recommend. Now, if you've been in our company's Engaged Personal Training or Engaged Strength Training, you will know that we have our own supplement line, which I will discuss because they are very high quality and we do believe in what we're doing here. But we're also going to say this day and age, this is not the 1980s anymore. Most supplement companies are pretty reputable and are doing a pretty good job. So if you prefer to shop somewhere else, no harm, no foul. Everybody's got their preferences and that's totally fine too. So first things first, let me just talk about the Engage Labs nutrition line. So we opened this supplement line about a year ago, and contrary to what a lot of people may believe, we are not, or I am personally not mixing up supplements in my basement. I think when we announced the Engage Labs line, I think people pictured like the Breaking Bad hazmat suits and myself mixing up whey proteins in my basement. Not what's happening, guys. Just to give you a peek behind the curtain and for total transparency, we are using what is called a private label product system. And what that means is there is a very reputable and popular manufacturing company that produces supplements for a lot of popular companies that we kind of researched and believed in the way they produce their products and got in touch with them to do what's called a private label line of products, where we choose the products that they're already making for a lot of different companies. And as long as we believe in the ingredient list and what's in them, we are able to sell them as our own. And that is what's happening. So there's a really good chance that you have already taken products from the Engaged Labs line of products in other quote unquote brands, because that's what a lot of companies do. So sorry to break it to you, most supplement companies are not hand making their supplements in their own factories. A lot of them are produced in mass quantities and just distributed to the different companies. So that is the origin of Engaged Labs, and really the reason that we wanted to go that route is because we saw people just buying whatever they saw on the shelves, and we wanted to provide them at least one option that we could guarantee was high quality and that would produce the results that they were looking for. Now listen, it's not the 1980s anymore. A lot of supplement companies are doing really good work, and most are third-party tested and have pretty rigorous standards to get by on. So you're usually pretty good, but there's still a lot of companies out there that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because supplements are not well regulated. They're not regulated by the FDA. So without third-party testing, sometimes you just don't know what you're getting. And they can say whatever they want on the label, and it might not be true. And there's a lot of ways that companies can get around that. So why Engaged Labs supplements might be a good fit for you? One, they are all third-party tested. And what that means is there's a third-party testing company that tests all the products to make sure that what we say is in the product is in the product. So if it says there's 22 grams of protein in the whey protein, that is what there is. A lot of companies do what's called amino spiking, and it's a way to, I'm honestly not sure the exact mechanism, but it's a way for them to lie about how much protein is actually in the product that is available to you. And third-party testing is a way to make sure that if you're drinking a protein shake, your body will actually be able to absorb the protein in it. All right. A lot of our products are also gluten-free. So, a lot of people know that gluten doesn't sit well with a lot of people. May give you GI stress. It may just not make you feel great. So having a gluten-free product was also really important to us. So that's another benefit to working with us. And the last thing, it is made in the USA, right? You're not getting products shipped over from China. All of our ingredients are sourced and made in the United States, and it's formulated in Pittsburgh. So it really doesn't even have to travel very far to reach your hands at any of our Gage or Engage locations. All right. So let me talk to you about, if you wanted to dabble in the supplement game, things you might look into or places you might want to start. All right, I'm going to talk to you guys about the most popular products for our target market, which are busy adults that want to lose fat and feel and get healthier. All right. First things first, here's the overall philosophy on supplements. You ready? Supplements are exactly that. You are supplementing in what you're not getting from your regular diet. So that means if you eat perfectly and you're getting a high protein diet and you're hitting all of your, eating all your vegetables and hitting all your micronutrient needs, you do not need supplements. By any means, you do not need to take supplements. Now, the reality is a huge majority of regular people, including myself, are not eating a whole foods diet that meets all of their needs to recover from their workouts and feel and perform their best. They're just not, right? And the simplest test is with protein. If you work with any of us at Gage or Engage, we'll usually give you a protein goal to shoot for. And, let's say it's 100 grams. If you go for a week or two and you consistently struggle to get 100 grams of protein every day, that's a sign that you may want to supplement with some sort of whey or vegan plant-based protein. All right. So the whole concept with supplements, they are not mandatory. They are not magic. They are not anything other than filling in the nutritional gaps that you might be missing. So let's talk protein. So Engage Labs has two varieties of protein. The first one is whey protein, right? So whey protein comes from dairy. Essentially, whey is a byproduct of cheese making. So when you take milk and you add, whatever cultures they add to milk to make cheese and they cook it, it produces what's called whey. And it's a very highly concentrated, high protein material that comes from milk. Essentially like really highly concentrated milk that's high in protein. And then they dry it out and that becomes your whey protein powder. All right. And obviously they, add some flavorings. Engage Labs doesn't use any artificial sweeteners. Everything is very clean. And the last thing is that's pretty unique about the way our whey protein is made is we do cold rolling processing. So if you've ever heard of people being afraid of cooking foods and having it denature the proteins, or heating things up in a microwave, or boiling vegetables, denaturing the nutrients, that's essentially why cold processing is so valuable in protein. Now, I mentioned that a lot of protein powders, they can say they've got 22, 25 grams of protein. But the truth is, if they do not do cold processing, cold rolling, there's a really good chance that at least part or some of those proteins have been denatured and your body will not absorb them. So yes, they are in the product, but they've been denatured and are no longer effective. So with our cold processing manufacturing company, which is one of the only ones on the East Coast that does this form of manufacturing, we can guarantee that you're getting all of the protein that it says is in the bottle, which we can't promise for other brands. All right. So that is a very important fact about our whey protein. Now, there the other thing about our whey protein is it's a whey concentrate versus an isolate. Now, some people might believe that isolate is way better than concentrate, or, there's a huge amount of difference. Really, all that is concentrate is slightly less processed, and they have pulled slightly less amounts of nutrients out of the whey. So when you're doing the whey protein processing, you are taking the whey protein and you are turning it into a powder, and that is essentially like a whey concentrate. It still has the fat, it still has a lot of the flavor and a lot of the qualities of that whole milk. And an isolate is when they isolate the whey molecules and break it down and pull it apart even further. So whey proteins typically have a little bit less calories, maybe a few less grams of fat or carbs, but really it's pretty minimal. Just for reference, the products that we used to sell were about 120 calories, and our whey concentrate product, that was an isolate, our whey concentrate product now is about 140 calories. So it's 20 calories difference. Really, in the grand scheme of things, very little difference. And I think it tastes better. But again, everyone's going to have their personal opinion. There's no right or wrong answer here with what products you do take. Just make sure you're taking stuff that is actually has what it says is in it. All right. So that, essentially is our whey protein line. The flavors that we have are vanilla, chocolate, and cinnamon bun. If you haven't tried them, I think it's worth a shot because it does make a very big difference to your hunger levels, to your muscle recovery, and to just how you feel overall. Next, we've got our vegan protein. So for anybody that is dairy-free, anybody that is plant-based or vegan, vegetarian, this is going to be a really good option for making sure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. Our vegan protein is made up of multiple sources of plant-based proteins, including pea protein, rice protein, and one more that I'm blanking on. But really good quality. And the reason we use, or that we appreciate that it's made of multiple sources, is because plant proteins are usually less complete and bioavailable than the animal proteins that we typically get from whey. And what that means is your body needs all the essential amino acids in order to use protein and create muscle protein synthesis. And if you only have one source of plant protein, a lot of times it doesn't give you all of the amino acids that you need. All right. So the vegan protein, cold processed, incredibly high quality, low calorie and high protein. That's another, really good benefit to these products is they are low calorie. You're only going to have about 100 to 120 calories per serving and over 20 grams of protein. And that is the sweet spot for what we recommend. So I hope that explains the overview of the protein supplements, why you might want to take them, and where you can get them and what types there are. Next, I want to talk about a very commonly misunderstood supplement, which is called creatine. So creatine is probably the most misunderstood on the market by the general population. Now, the fact is, creatine is the most studied dietary supplement in the history of the world. And there has not been any studies that have come back saying it is detrimental to your health. For whatever reason, back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, people that thought that weightlifting was going to make you bulky, or meatheads were the worst thing in the world, led the public to believe that creatine was horrible for your health, it was horrible for your kidneys, and it was horrible for kids to take, all of which is not true. So creatine is a natural molecule. It's found in meat and a lot of other products. So you are eating and ingesting creatine all the time without even knowing it. And creatine is really, really important for several things. And the first one is obvious, or it's maybe not obvious, but the first one is increasing muscle strength and size. So creatine is going to help repair muscle fibers, improve strength, and it's going to help you improve your high intensity training. So training at Gage, training at Engage, it's going to help you like just feel and perform better. And when you can lift heavier, when you can move faster, when you can do more, you will burn more calories and you will lose more weight and you will get a leaner and healthier body. All right. So a lot of these products, like the benefits are almost like secondary benefits because they just make you feel better and you move more and train harder, right? It's not just that they are doing this amazing work inside your body. It's kind of these secondary benefits as well. And creatine is a really good example of that. So the next benefit of taking creatine is cognitive and brain support. So this is actually something that I never knew until recently. And I got into like a really big, I needed help like focusing at work and just keeping my like brain operating because running 5 businesses and taking care of 2 kids and all that can get tough. So I ordered this product that was like for brain health, and it was just like a vitamin for your brain, and it was creatine. And I was like, oh, wow, I never knew that creatine supports cognitive health and improves brain function. And I did a little research, and it's actually incredibly powerful in its effect for brain health. So it has been linked to improvements with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, ischemic stroke, as well as traumatic brain injuries and concussions. So again, it's not, touting itself as a cure, but it can help reduce symptoms. And there's a lot of research supporting that. So really interesting if you get brain fog, if your memory, if you struggle with memory or focus, try taking creatine, see if it helps. There's lots of different protocols that you can look up. It's a pretty cheap product. You can get it for pretty reasonable prices, and it's really easy. It's usually flavorless. You can just mix it in with your water. And the last thing is it is very, very beneficial if you are a woman going through or have been through menopause. So I did a call with one of the leading performance experts for peri and postmenopausal women. And I asked her like what her opinions were on supplements. And she was like, creatine is the best thing women over 50 can take. It helps to maintain muscle mass, which starts to deteriorate at postmenopause level. Your muscle fibers don't contract as strong, and it has a lot of different mechanisms that are causing that. It also helps with things like cold flashes, with brain fog, with memory issues. Right? These are all common symptoms of the postmenopausal female. And she's like, listen, it's a cheap supplement. It's the best thing you can take if you are postmenopause and you want to improve or maintain your strength and health. So that is my rundown on creatine. If you don't love protein shakes, at least take creatine because it will help improve your muscle mass and strength. And you don't have to worry about the taste. You can mix it in with literally anything, and it mixes really well. And it's just a really simple supplement that you should be taking. The next one, I won't touch on too much, but it's pre-workouts. All right, here's the thing. Not everybody needs pre-workouts. It is definitely not for everybody. Pre-workouts essentially are just highly caffeinated drinks that also have things like nootropics that help you focus and feel a little bit more dialed in. And a lot of times they have things like creatine in them because that's going to help you feel stronger and perform better. Pre-workouts are really mainly for people that struggle with motivation. They struggle if they work out early in the morning, like feeling like they're awake and performing their best. They can help if you are like just not feeling it that day. And they can help with like if you are leaner and you want to like really feel a pump in your muscles, if you're lifting weights, they can really help with that as well. So pre-workouts are like the lowest on the totem pole for regular people to take. I personally have taken them for a long time because I just think it really gives me an edge in my workouts. I have a little extra pep in my step, and it just, helps me feel stronger and get more out of my training. And again, that is a secondary benefit. There is nothing inherent about pre-workout that is making your body different other than it makes you have more energy to train harder and lift heavier, and you will get better results because of that. All right. So at Engage Labs, we have two types of pre-workouts. We have a stimulant blend, which has caffeine and other natural stimulants. And it's got all kinds of things to make you feel, more focused and energized and ready to train. And then we have a natural pre-workout, which has only natural stimulants and natural sources of caffeine, way milder. So I'd recommend, I personally, because I have ADHD, I have a very high caffeine tolerance. So I need something that's got a little more rocket fuel. So I need something that's got a little bit more stimulants in it to really get me going. If you are more sensitive to caffeine, then I would recommend the natural pre-workout. All right. Both of them are going to make you feel like, all right, I'm ready to rock. But if you are more sensitive, try the natural pre-workout. And if you just want to try it, listen, come to the gym and we can get you a free sample of pre-workout before a session, and you can feel if it makes a difference because, again, it might not be for you. And the last one that I wanted to touch on, which I think is very helpful for families with young kids and especially picky eaters, is a greens supplement that we produce. So our greens powder is made up of a blend of essentially like dried vegetables, powdered vegetables. And every serving of greens is going to have like 10 daily servings of your daily vegetables, right? So 1 tablespoon of our greens powder, which actually doesn't taste bad, is going to give you an entire day's worth of vegetables that is going to fill your micronutrient gaps. So again, micronutrients are the opposite, not opposite, but different from macronutrients in a sense of macronutrients are the nutrients that make up the majority of your daily calories. Micronutrients are like your vitamins and minerals. So it's why we all know we need to eat vegetables and take vitamins. This is basically if you are not eating consistent amounts of fruits and vegetables, you should probably look into a greens supplement. There's lots, like if you have ever listened to a podcast, you've probably heard Athletic Greens or AG1 be promoted. It's like been in the podcast advertising game forever. I used to take them. It's very expensive, and it's essentially the exact same product as we are making at Engage Labs. So for way less money, you can get the exact same product, and it's going to taste better because Athletic Greens tastes like you're drinking pond water. For the most part, we have, flavors of our greens that are actually pretty decent. So the greens powder, if you've got young kids that just don't eat their vegetables, like you can get this down in a few seconds, and whatever it takes to get your kid to drink them. My daughter even drinks them, and she is not the world's greatest eater. So it can be very helpful for young kids, just making sure that you're covering all of your nutritional bases, and it's very highly bioavailable, which means your body is able to process it and absorb and digest all of the nutrition from the greens supplements. Okay. So I hope this gives you a good overview of some of the most popular and effective supplements that you can be taking for busy adults that want to lose fat and get healthier. If you go to engagelabsnutrition.com, you can search our whole inventory, which I did not cover everything, right? We have a lot of other products, including branched chain amino acids, collagen, sleep supplements. We have multivitamins. We have hydration, electrolyte mixes, which are going to be a healthier alternative to like drinking Gatorade. We've got fish oil and immune boosting supplements. So a lot of different things. To be honest, our clients, like we just like to promote the things that we feel are most important, which are typically protein, creatine, pre-workout if you need it, and then our greens. So I hope this helps, guys. Any order of $100 or more gets free shipping. It'll ship right to your door in like 2 days since it's only coming from Pittsburgh. Very convenient and very high quality and reputable brand.